Hello and welcome to our channel. Today, we are going to do a recap of a romance drama movie called Phantom Thread, which was released in the year 2017. But before we begin, beware of spoilers and enjoy the video. The film opens with a woman sitting in a chair and talking about a man. The story then flashes back as we see a man named Reynolds Woodcock, who is shaving and combing his hair. Reynolds is a renowned fashion designer in London. Most of his clients are members of high society. This 1950s couturier lives in a tall, soulless, and chilly-looking London townhouse. Reynolds runs his fashion house together with his sister Cyril. His sister lives and works with him. At the breakfast table, he sits with Johanna, who offers him some delicious-looking croissants. But he refuses as Cyril comes and joins them at the table. While they sit, Johanna complains that Reynolds has not been paying attention to her lately, indicating that they are in a relationship. But according to him, he does not have enough time for a confrontation in the morning, and he would much rather focus on the dress that he intends to deliver to a wealthy woman named Countess Henrietta Harding. Then, Countess Henrietta gets out of her car and wears the dress Reynolds has so carefully designed just for her. She goes to a fancy party while wearing the dress, while Reynolds and Cyril are seen together eating dinner at a restaurant and talking about his life. Reynolds is clueless about what he should do with the meaningless relationship he has with Johanna. Reynolds is a man of old habits. He applies the same rule to every woman he meets. Women are like temporary muses for Reynolds. The designer falls in love rather quickly, but he does not keep his woman for very long. She then advises him to visit his hometown in order to clear his mind and think about his life. Reynolds thinks that it is a good idea, so he goes there and meets Alma serving in a cafe. Both of them pass a smile at each other as she comes close to him to get the order. He gives her the world's longest breakfast order: sausages, bacon, poached eggs, not too runny, toast, and scones with cream and jam, all washed down with a cup of tea. After serving the food, she gives him the receipt, which has a message on it. She referred to him as a hungry boy because of how much he ordered and mentioned her name. Reynolds invites Alma to have dinner with him, and she happily accepts because she has started to like him and this feeling is mutual. He takes her out to dinner, where he wipes off her lipstick because a man who creates armor of his choosing for women also likes to remove that which they chose themselves. He asks her about her mother and she claims that she loves her. Reynolds talks about her mother and it is revealed that his mother is dead, but she means a lot to him and he loves her. After dinner, Reynolds takes Alma to his cottage. There, he shows her a picture of his mother and talks about how she taught him the art of fashion designing and that he owes his entire career to her. They both sit down and start to converse while he chooses the topic of wedding dresses. While the topic of wedding is brought up, Alma inquires if he is married or not. But his thoughts about marriage are that it would be too distracting and he would not be able to perform his work with good quality. The designer then wants to take Alma's measurements for a new dress that is not yet completed. Meanwhile, Cyril shows up at the cottage and Reynolds introduces Alma to her. She helps him out in measuring the dress and Alma gets a little bit uncomfortable by this, but she is still interested in Reynolds. Alma and Reynolds are then seen together on a beautiful land as he emphasizes how he feels like she is the one he has been trying to find for a very long time. Not long after that, Alma moves in with Reynolds. Both of them are at a dinner that is lovely until Cyril arrives and sits with them. She talks about his clients and other topics regarding their work. As time passes by, both of them start to feel closer and closer. One day, at breakfast, Reynolds gets irritated by her way of eating breakfast and storms out of there without elaborating anything. Later on, he makes a dress with expensive laces. Underneath the dress, he writes Alma's name. She eventually becomes his muse and his employee as a model who wears his dresses. At night, she tries to go inside his room, but he does not allow her to enter the room because he claims that he is working and therefore cannot manage any distractions. Cyril comes with some tea and he lets her while Alma still stands outside. Soon he's building dresses around her, which she then models in Edwardian rooms in front of the society ladies who can afford his creations. While she walks in front of the woman, Reynolds watches her through a door hole. Then, both of them sit in a car as they are planning to go to dinner. Before they can depart, Reynolds starts to feel very sick and is unable to drive. His condition gets worse when he gets bed rest and stays inside his room. Being thoughtful, Alma brings him some hot tea so that he can drink it and feel better. But little does she know that he is a control freak. In Reynolds' eyes, this kind gesture holds no meaning, and instead, he gets offended because he had not ordered her to make him tea. He then tells her to leave. The next morning, Alma goes out and discovers some poisonous mushrooms that were growing in the forest. She takes a few of them. At breakfast, Cyril informs Reynolds that he will have to go to Barbara's wedding. Barbara is their very old client and they do not want to lose her. He reluctantly agrees to go if she invites him. In the next scene, Barbara comes and he gives her the special green dress. And just as Cyril had anticipated, Barbara invites Reynolds to her wedding. At the wedding, Alma and Reynolds are sitting together. After some time, Barbara gets so drunk that she passes out, and when other people carry her away, they do not care about the dress. Reynolds sees this and tells Alma that they need to get the dress. He then takes her to Barbara's room, where she is sleeping in the green dress. Alma manages to get the dress off of Barbara as they instantly leave. While they walk on the street with the dress, Reynolds kisses her. Both of them start to stay happy with each other. After some time, Alma goes to Cyril and explains that in an attempt to rekindle their romance, she is planning on preparing a romantic dinner to have some alone time with Reynolds. Therefore, she wants to send Cyril and the staff away. She further elaborates that when he goes out for a walk, she will prepare a nice dinner and will surprise her. However, Cyril is strongly against this as she knows her brother and she is well aware that a man like him would not enjoy a surprise. Even in the face of a warning from Cyril not to carry out a planned surprise dinner for Reynolds, Alma decides to do it anyway. She makes everyone, including Cyril, leave the house as she makes dinner and waits for him. When Reynolds enters the house, he notices that everyone is gone. She walks down the stairs and explains how everyone left and that they are alone. She mentions the surprise dinner and calls him upstairs for the dinner, and predictably it is a disaster. He gets annoyed by all of her questions very quickly and an argument begins almost instantly. He whines at having to show gallantry when he hates the food and hates surprises. He then tells her to leave. Later, she is in the kitchen and she is learning about the poisonous mushrooms from a book. She is curious about them because there is an idea in her head. Then, she grinds them up and puts some of them in Reynolds' tea. During breakfast, he talks to Cyril while drinking the poisoned tea. Reynolds then starts to work and works on a princess's dress. He feels a little lightheaded and ultimately he faints while falling right on top of the princess's wedding gown. The dress suffers some damage. The staff helps him as he somehow makes it to his bedroom and rests there. The staff members go to Cyril and tell her everything that happened with Reynolds and how the dress is ruined. Meanwhile, Alma goes inside Reynolds' room to check on him as she pretends that she doesn't know what happened to him. Alma basically poisons him because she needs Reynolds to be vulnerable in order to make their relationship work. Otherwise, Reynolds will just fall back into his old habits. Alma figures out that the only way to break Reynolds is to make him weak. As a result, she decided to poison her husband. Despite being very extreme in her actions, Alma is not trying to kill Reynolds. She just wants to make him a little bit sick so that he can be more vulnerable and open up to her. Cyril then also comes to his room to check up on him. He mentions that he has only been eating what he eats every day once she inquires if he had consumed a false substance. She then suggests that they call the doctor, but he refuses, but she does it anyway. She then leaves while leaving Alma all alone with him. While the workers try to fix the dress, Alma starts to take care of Reynolds and she likes this because this is what she wanted all along. Cyril then comes back into the room and she brings the doctor with her. Reynolds refuses to speak with the doctor and misbehaves. As a result, he goes away without checking him. During his recovery, Reynolds hallucinates about his late mother. Alma takes care of him the entire time, and when Reynolds wakes up he proposes to her. Alma accepts and shortly after, the wedding takes place. Nonetheless, their renewed honeymoon phase does not last very long. Alma and Reynolds start bickering again. Meanwhile, Cyril informs Reynolds that some of his major clients are going to the rival fashion house, hinting that his classical designs are becoming outdated. A frustrated Reynolds concludes that Alma is the reason why he can no longer concentrate on his craft. Therefore, he makes the decision of breaking up with her and wants Cyril to send her the message. Meanwhile, Alma walks in and overhears the conversation. Once again, Alma concocts a plan to poison Reynolds. This time, she is cooking him a wild mushroom omelet. When Reynolds chews the first bite, Alma tells him that she wants him weak and vulnerable. In addition, Alma also wants Reynolds to be completely dependent on her to take care of him. Reynolds complies, swallows the omelet, and asks Alma to kiss him. While taking care of Reynolds, Alma imagines their future life with children and running the fashion house together. Although Alma acknowledges that things are not going to be easy, she is certain that their love will help them overcome the challenges. Here, this movie ends. That's all for today. If you liked this video, then please like, share, and comment. Press the bell icon so you don't miss any updates, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Take care and see you next time.